Pluto at the third house. There's no way to escape Pluto in my thinking, in my presentation, in my cognition. I see through things. I see what's down at the dark bottom. I see what it really is. And most of it is the dark and the ugly that Pluto holds for Anubis. I bring it up, I resurface it in the power of my mind, Pluto, third house. It's going to disturb you. It's going to bother you. It's going to present disillusionment. I have a dark mind, but it's illuminated by love. And I pray that will continue throughout my life. But the benefit of Pluto is an offering of transformation if you have the resilience.
I'm not hungry.
You're not hungry?
You even know about the trial?
What did you order it for?
I lost my appetite.
You even know that Sheffield said he can get you a postponement? Eh?
Is this it? This what it's all about, Manny? Eating, drinking, fucking, sucking.
Come on.
Snoring. Then what? Tell me. Then what? You're 50. You got a bag for a belly. You got tits. You need a bra. They got hair on them. You got a liver. They got spots on it, and you're eating this fucking shit. And you're looking like these rich fucking mummies in there.
Oh, it's not so bad. Could be worse, you know.
This what it's all about?
Forget it. Forget it.
This what I work for? Tell me. Come on, you. Look at that. A junkie. I got a fucking junkie for a wife. Don't eat nothing. Sleeps all day with them black shades on. Wakes up with a quaalude.
Don't pick on her, man.
And who won't fuck me
Come on.
because she's in a coma. I can't even have a kid with her, man. Her womb is so polluted. I can't even have a fucking little baby with her.
I'm not even gonna listen to that.
Bitch. You fuck.
You shouldn't talk like that, you know?
How dare you talk to me like that? What makes you so much better than me? What do you
It's
do?
okay.
You do drugs and you kill people? Oh, that's wonderful, Tony. Real contribution to human history.
Go ahead. So tell everybody. Come on.
You want a kid?
Tell the world.
What kind of a father do you think you are?
Come on.
Are you gonna drive him to school in the mornings? Are you even gonna be alive by the time the kid goes to school? You don't even know how to be a husband. Get off the phone! Without having your thugs hanging around all the time.
Yeah, it's okay.
I have
That's
Nick,
it.
the pig, as a friend.
Good up there.
What kind of life is that?
Come on.
Can't you see what we're becoming to? We're losers. We're not winners, we're losers.
Go on. You're stoned.
I'm not stoned. You're stoned.
Okay, get out.
Take it.
No.
Come on.
No. I'm not going home with you. I'm not going going home with anybody? Going home. I'm leaving you. I don't need this shit.
Okay, I'll walk you out. I'll take her home with Kathy.
Let her go, man. Another quaalude, you're gonna love me again.
South Node Virgo, I want you to look at where you have Virgo in your natal birth chart. And I want you to realize that we have a lingering sense of dissatisfaction at this place in our life. Understand that dissatisfaction may be expressed in different ways from person to person. However, that's the theme here that we're learning to address, is the sense of dissatisfaction. That dissatisfaction comes from the mistake that we make of comparing ourselves, because we could be attached to a certain kind of feedback from a certain kind of audience in our life, and we don't feel that we have met up to par with those social ideals, standards, or social constructs. This is where we have over-criticized ourselves into hesitation and into inaction. Inaction. You think you have to have everything so perfect before you utilize the consciousness in this place in your life, and you don't. You don't. It's also where we could be far too rigid in our nature, a stickler, dissatisfied at every detail, immovable, unbendable, stubborn, tyrant, controlling, aggressive. Understand, your world falls apart with one blemish. I'll tell you a story that goes with this dissatisfaction and what could lead to narcissism and arrogance. Understand, this also goes with the 12th house Virgo individuals out there. Okay, 12th house Virgo. It is a fear of not being perceived as perfect or having it all together. Understand? Okay, so a person like that tends to hide everything, okay, in the gut. They hide everything in the intestinal tract. I don't want you to see this. I don't want you to see that because it's not perfect. Okay? This doesn't mean that that's you, all right? This is within the range of this energy's possibility. Anyway, I'll tell you a story. There's this one Orisha who is the father of Orishas, and to let you know, Orishas are forces of nature who we call Elohim. They are archetype of every planet and impulse, forces of nature, Orishas, okay? The father of Orishas is Obatala, okay? The god of light and creativity, Obatala. He's the big black father who dresses in white. Understand, right? He represents Jupiter, and in some expressions, he represents the sun, okay? This is Obatala, chief of the white cloth, okay? The one who owns the head of man. Now, Obatala had problems with one of his sons, Shango, Oba Shango or King Shango. Oba Shango, that is Uranus. Okay? Some people say Uranus, tomato, whatever. But anyway, it's Shango. Okay? The god of thunder and lightning. Understand? This is Obatala's son. He had an argument with him. There were some differences. They were not speaking to each other. Okay? And so Obatala felt very bad in himself about it, and he wanted to go visit his son Shango. So Obatala started off on a journey one morning to go see his son. And he dressed in white as usual, his trademark. Beautiful, bright, splendid white garment. Okay? He always dressed in white. No stains, understand? So he had his head up high, dressed in his white, feeling confident, you know what I mean? Radiating like, the sun, in a sense. And so in his journey, right up on the hill, there was his other son who was Isu Dara. Isu Dara, the god of the crossroads, the Lord of Dread, the Lord of Wonders, who is archetype of Mercury, okay? Mercury. He was preparing a pot of palm oil for cooking. And palm oil, if you don't know, it is a red consistency, a fiery red color. And he had a cauldron of palm oil. It was a cauldron, so it was very big, portion that he was preparing at the hill. And so Obatala made it up to where Esu, his son, was at. And Esu was struggling to contain the pot because he had to move it across the road. The smoke was blowing, in a direction where the neighbors were offended. So he wanted to move it across the road. So, mind you, Esu is often called the trickster, okay? Which is why he's often depicted as wearing black on one side and red on one side, okay? And he's also understood to be the old man and the child at the same time. No wonder he represents Mercury, okay? So the trickster or Isu has something in mind with his father. He obviously knew something, okay? Anytime Orishas do something, there's wisdom behind it, all right? Understand this. There's heavenly wisdom. So Obatala got close to his son, and he, inquired about what he's doing. And his son said, hey, listen, I really need your help. I'm glad you're here. Help me to carry this cauldron of palm oil to the other side of the road. So, of course, Obatala wanted to help his son. So he got one side and his son got one side of, of the palm oil. And all of a sudden, Esu is winking out of his eye, like some 7 of swords or 7 of cups type thing, And he spilled it. Oh man. I know. Damn. Let me repeat that for people who not catching on, right? Obatala grabbed one side of the cauldron. This is fiery red colored palm oil. Obatala is dressed in white. Esu, his son, asked him to grab one side, and he grabbed one side so they could walk it to the other side of the road. And when Obatala grabbed the cauldron, Esu dropped his side and spilled it. And it splashed on Obatala. Okay? So, Obatala was furious, but he humbled himself. And Esu quickly rushed to try to wipe it off of him. He had rags and everything, was, trying to wipe the stains off. Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe I could wash it for you. Where you going? Where you headed? I'm going to see my son. I was dressed in white. I felt proud that I was going to see my son. I felt good about myself and I was having this good day. And here you caused me to spill palm oil, red palm oil on my white garment. And Esu smiled. And Esu said, now you will be blessed in your journey. Before I go into that, why do you think Esu said you will be blessed in your journey? Remember, we talking about the dissatisfaction of Virgo. We talking about Virgo expecting everything to be so perfect. Okay? The answer for that is what? Pisces North Node. Okay? Acceptance and surrender, seeing the unity in all things, blending into the all color frequency into the singularity of white light. Number 7, downloaded Neptune, Jupiter. Okay? Understand? So, why what Esu described this as a blessing? I'll tell you why. Esu explained to Obatala. He said, you were headed to see your son, and you were proud. Your head was up. You were wearing all white as you always do, and you looked amazing. But in that, it caused your heart to rise high. But now, with the stain, your heart, it hangs low. So what is that? Esu caused him to step into humility. You see? Humility now makes his journey blessed. Why? Because Obatala's intention was to reconcile with his son. In a spirit of pride, it doesn't work. You're in the wrong frequency. But in the spirit of humility, yes, of course it will work, the reconciliation. So his journey is blessed. He went to see his son, and they made peace. Understand. And notice that he was on the way to see Uranus or Shango. And it was Mercury that caused that. Deliberately. Okay? Throw that out there. You know what I mean?
We're not gonna. You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, what'll I make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. Me, I don't have that problem. Me, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Come on. Make way for the bad guy here. There's a bad guy coming through.
Now, Virgo at the South Node, this is a mentality that's being addressed in all of us about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Alright? You have something or you have someone that is sufficient, of significant value, but the value is overlooked, it's over criticized to the point where you just throw the whole thing away. It's much like, for example, There's this show, it's called Pop the Balloon, right? And you'll see where there's males and females who come to the platform to choose each other. And when it comes to the females choosing the males, and sometimes the males when they choose the females, but this is more so with females, they will look at factors of a person that has little or nothing at all to do with what brings value to a relationship, for what relationships are for. His hat doesn't match his shoes. I don't like his haircut. He's not tall enough. I don't like the shirt he got on. He's light skinned or he's dark skinned. And vice versa. Her butt ain't big enough. She ain't my type because she don't got this and she don't look like that. And that South Node Virgo is not only applying to relationships, but I'm emphasizing that relationship standpoint because Cancer, Jupiter is being expanded. That's the context. That's what Venus and Jupiter is emphasizing at. That's where the Lord of Relationship Initiations, Venus, is at. When it comes to this energy at the South Node indicates that we are learning to undo this. We are learning to overcome it. We are learning to heal that illness in us. We're purging that out of our psychology, out of our mentality. We have, in the West, gotten the luxury to dismiss valuable entities, commodities, and persons. Because in this country, we have so much abundance. We have so much wealth. To where we forgot what abundance and wealth even looks like. If you have more than one option in anything, you have abundance. If you have more than what you need, you have wealth. That's the truth.
Wake up, bitch! Take the mask off your goddamn face! Your daughter is a motherfucking hoe!
Movement came in of women saying they don't need a man to have, and that was driven because you couldn't have a man in the house at all if you were a single woman on welfare. It was if they found, and they would come and inspect, and that was true. And if they found any aspects of a man, and they were looking to find, because they wanted you off. They didn't want you to be on welfare for any extended amount of time. And if they found any piece of a man, they would kick you off of welfare.
This was
how many kids you had.
And Donna is speaking from her. Go ahead.
This is personal. This is truth of Chicago, CHA, Chicago Housing Authority. We lived in Henry Horner Homes, 1847 West Lake, 15th floor. So women they made a decision. They made a decision that has carried forward for 50 years now, that it was more important for them to be a mother to a child versus having money, government assistance, versus having a family, husband, because having a man meant you lost money.
Yep.
And so they made a decision to say, no, we're going to just take the money. And we still going to have a man. We're going to sneak the man in where we could.
But you're going to become secondary.
We definitely.
So let's
absolutely become secondary.
So let's talk about this, right?
We've gotten so far to where we've forgotten the difference between wants, desires, and needs. We don't know the difference. We overlook our circumstance, our predicament, and because of that, we don't have a pair to our identity with our circumstance, and we don't know how to gauge what it means to practice compassion or love for yourself. Do you love yourself enough to choose a woman that is good for you? Do you love yourself enough to choose a man that is good for you? Not pleasurable for you, good for you. Look at how many differences we don't know. Look at how much discernment we lack. Look where maturity is at behind making decisions. A woman that gives you pleasure is not indicative to a woman that is good for you. A man that gives you pleasure is not indicative to a man that is good for you. The man or the woman that is good for you could indeed be full of many trials, challenges, exercises. You may have to develop your character to find balance with that person. You may have to transform your consciousness to harmonize with that person, or the other way around, or both. We want everything ready-made, microwave, right now. I don't want any type of work or effort to have to put into anything. It better work for me. It better be right for me. I better not struggle. I better not have any hard times. No sweat, no blood, no tears. Only happy times, good pictures to upload on Instagram, stories to tell, traveling and taking more pictures, going out to eat at restaurants, taking more pictures, comparing my relationship experiences with my girlfriends or with my homies. We've totally gotten away from the point. The real point in that, do I see a mother of my children in this woman? Do I see a woman who I would want my sons to marry? Do I see the prototype of that character in her of what I would want my sons to marry? Do I see the prototype in this woman of the type of character that I would feel I am honoring my mother with as succeeding her efforts invested in me? Have I clarified that in what I see in this woman? Is she fertile soil? Not fertile as in to have a bunch of babies, but if you teach her, if you pour into her, are you guaranteed to see fruit of your labor, fruit of your investments? Is that what she's conditioned to be? Is she teachable? What is her temperament? Is she full of cuss words? However she communicates, she is the mother tongue. A woman is the mother tongue. How the mother communicates is how the children will communicate. So is she full of Black and Miles, alcohol, and cuss words? Is that what you want your children to have as their mother tongue? These are the things that we really should probably think about. Is she good for me in a sense that this woman knows how to stand between me and my desires, stand between me and my weaknesses, stand between me and my distractions? Does she expect more of me than I probably expect for myself? Even though it's uncomfortable and it leaves me feeling vulnerable, this woman causes me to constantly grow. Is she an example or exemplification of nurturing, care, intuition, oracle? Is she a reminding tongue, a reminding voice of my moral compass and my commitment and duty to what is right and what is good? Does she question the limitations and thresholds of my behavior and my character so that I will not go astray from right character and behavior? That's a good woman. When it comes to looks, does she look like she loves herself? Does she look like she cares about her health? That is what beauty is. To exemplify self-care in your appearance. It doesn't have to go to the extreme of these exaggerated asses and titties and pretty faces that look like supermodels and all these other things. When has anybody gotten anything good out of females like that in the first place? I don't care who out there wants to throw around the, oh, not everybody just because she's pretty. No, I beg to differ. The more pretty a woman is, the more hell you got on your hands. The more curvaceous her body, the more problems and headache that you are going to have. That's just a fact of life. And it goes the same way with men who have a lot of money, a lot of clout, and a lot of magnetism and command when it comes to women.
Right? So let's talk about this, because I really want to get to the point that I'm driving to, right? And anybody that disagrees, I would like for you to speak up, and I would love to hear you debate the point. But historically, when we're just speaking in women in general in our culture, we were more so forced into the mindset. It wasn't that, oh, we just made a decision, because a lot of stuff we were ignorant to, a lot of shit that we were not united enough as a community, because of certain shit that went on, like I said, with jobs and being suppressed systemically with racism and a lot of things. We just weren't awake enough to see what was being done to us. And so women were drove in the direction of the decision, like somebody said. And Miss Donna, I love that she spoke up and got straight to it and was able to give real experience of living it for anybody that is doubting, right? Women were driven to make the decision that receiving financial support from the government to raise my children was more important than a family staying together, or me going through that struggle or that dynamic of trying to work with their father or any man, right, to make a way that way. Now, when I asked y'all who has control over the children, it is as plain as day, unless you are trying in some way, shape, or form to hang on to a straw of the ladder. If the governmental welfare program stated that if a man is involved, we will not help you, right? It shows that the government is only willing to help who they see, right, should receive the help, or who should be in control. Otherwise, if a man is involved, you're on your own. And so what this means is, even if you had a man that made a good amount of money to take care of everything, the minute that you guys went through any sort of hard times, what is the mindset that would come up? I'm going to answer the question so we don't go off left. The mindset that would come up is that if they're giving welfare to women consistently, right, as long as a man is not involved, if you are involved, we should consistently stay above water and not struggle. And so if we struggle and you are involved, I should then get rid of you and go get the consistent help, because the governmental programs are saying if you're involved, I shouldn't need any help. We should not struggle. Does everybody understand this? Just that part.
Yes.
And so if you fast forward to today, most family courts in whatever state you pick or you live in support the idea that the children are better off with the mother. Not because it just statistically shows up to be that way, because when we look at the facts, most women raising children by themselves with no man in the household, the children are going through adverse childhood experiences, one after another, after another, after another. And a lot of what is the product turns out to be not good. We just don't like to say this. So even when you fast forward, the female is in control of what occurs with the children, starting from whether a child is even born or not. It takes two people to have sex and make a child, right? Fertilize the egg. But in order for a child to go through the process of being born, a woman makes that decision. When a child is born, similar to our fellow book club member, Frank, if I'm in a space where I don't give a damn if he's a good father or not, you rub me the wrong way, I have the ability to not have you there when the child is born, for you to not know what I put on the birth certificate, for you to not know what I filled out on any of the paperwork. I have the ability to have our child get vaccines or make medical decisions without you there. No one at the hospital is going to say, hold on, before she sign anything or consent to anything or do anything to this child, we should consult with his father. That shows that the power lies with who? One person answer me, please.
The mother.
Simply off of you, I come Bernard and he could rub me the wrong way the morning that I go into labor and I can decide, you know what, Bernard? I don't give a fuck. Don't let Bernard in the hospital room while the baby is being born. I could do that. Doesn't mean it's right, but I have that control and power and ability. And so what a lot of us don't realize is we walk around in our communities and act like this is not true. Not only do I have the ability to say this, but I have the ability to then carry this all the way through to where Bernard won't see this child if I don't want him around me. If Bernard don't come correct to me, I can make it where he don't get involvement in this kid's life. If Bernard don't give me a certain amount of money, I can make it where it is a headache for him to even speak about his children. If Bernard cheated on me in a relationship, I can really start to raise and program my child to look at Bernard a certain way. The difference is when it comes to these topics, I am unwilling to look at it in any other way besides what is actually going on. I am a mother and I have the ability to do some of these same things, and I know that I can do it. It's just that my character is not that. So when I look at what is going on in our community, when you watch movies like Claudine, you realize certain things are in us today from the situations historically, like the movie. Does everybody understand this?
Yeah, and example, and when he asked.
You're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but it's all on the wrong factors. He got to be 6 feet tall. He got to make 6 figures. And for all of you out there thinking I'm taking a sensitive trip with this, nigga, I'm 6'2". I weigh 285 pounds. So I'm not lacking there. I just see that how ridiculous it is of the expectations, even though it might not have to do with me. Everything's not about me. He got to be 6 foot tall. He got to have a 6-pack. He got to have 6 figures. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want a provider. I want a provider. I want a provider. There's no real intelligence put behind things. It's just regurgitate and repeat what you hear, what you heard, what you seen. Where is the imagination and originality of females in America? Where is it at? Who's original? Who is original? Where's the originality? Instead of assessing a man as, this is who I would want to be a father of my children, does he have the character and mindset to be responsible, to be accountable? How is he under pressure? Is this a strategic thinker? Does he have the intellectual capacity by which I could stand secure behind? The number one thing, do I naturally feel inclined to respect him? Is he respectable? Not is he lovable? According to the scriptures that I read in the Bible, which I love to read, God never told woman to love man. He told woman to respect man. He told man to love woman. A woman ain't got no business walking around here looking for a man to love. You look for a man who you feel inclined to respect. If you don't feel like you respect him, you can't even have a beginning with him. Nothing good will come of it. And you cannot make him into something that you respect. And every woman sees respect differently in different men of different measures. The wrong things are being looked at. Is this the type of man who I will want my daughter to marry? Is he that prototype? Is he the prototype that can succeed my father's care and investment in me? Is he equal to or better than my father? These are just some little things that we could start with that's much better than what we've been doing. How long is his dick? How tall is he? How much money do you got? Is all the girls in the community checking for him? If all the women don't want him, she don't want him. If he don't come with clout, she ain't interested. If he can't keep up with her arrested development, ferocious appetite for consumption, an addiction to consumerism, buying and purchasing, constantly buying and purchasing, you want someone who can inherit the burden, the tab of your terrible spending habits. I want to travel and go on trips here and there. I want to buy this and buy that. Your monthly budget is something beyond what you can ever catch up with. But you need a man who makes enough money to hide that away from the world, to relieve you of that pressure, while keeping up with purchasing an illusion of beauty, an illusion of status that costs more money than what you make to keep up with it. How much money does it take every year to keep buying these wigs and maintaining these wigs, these lashes, these nails, these eyebrows, and all this other stuff, these expensive European fashions, expensive vehicles, gated communities in areas that you know you can't even fucking afford? What can you afford out of your income, out of your budget, by yourself? Write down how much you spend and separate what is excessive and what is priority, what is a need, what is a want. Separate that budget and see what you're expecting a man to be at a capacity to make that disappear, to make it blend in so that it doesn't look so bad, so you can relieve yourself of the accountability to your consumptions, your habit of consuming.
Wake up, bitch. Take the mask off your face. Your daughter's a goddamn hoe. Wake up, bitch. Take the mask off your goddamn face. Your daughter is a motherfucking hoe. Woo! All y'all educated bitches that got y'all PhDs, BS, bullshitting ass degrees ain't nothing but a hunk of damn shit with a piece of goddamn paper, shit wrote all on it. That's all your BS degree is. A worthless piece of damn tissue with a hunk of shit piled all on it. These educated bitches walking around here talking about me, putting me down, think you better than me, got your mask on, hiding behind your mask with your damn degree and your damn alphabets on the end of your fucking name, and your house and your car and your clothes and your shoes, and your daughter is a real lie 360-degree slut. Open your fucking fucking eyes, cause not only is the mama a fucking hoe, selling herself out for a nothing ass nigga, sharing herself with a motherfucking nigga, that's sharing him with another bitch, that's sharing him with another goddamn bitch, and a possible nigga too, and a fucking sissy. Not only is the degreed mama hiding behind her fake ass goddamn mask a motherfucking real life slut, but your daughter is a damn slut too. She's a slut, and you know this. She takes dicks in her mouth, pussy, and her butt. She's a slut. And y'all got these little bitches that's supposed to be so special, and you brag on your goddamn daughters, and she this and she that, and she's on the honor roll. The only honors this hoe got is cocked up in her pussy, piling all kind of goddamn dicks 90 miles an hour up in it. The honor roll she got is playing the role of a hoe. And all the honor and certificate she got is from niggas stamping they dick of approval off in her motherfucking ass. And you know what she doing it at? Y'all educated bitches with your maskers on that don't want to take them off, but want to fuck with me and call me all kind of goddamn names. They don't have to go to no motherfucking hotel. That's what they is. They is using your damn house while you going to work, while you out.
You're looking for a sucker to afford a capacity that you yourself need to reduce. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. How many times? I'm 42 years old and I've seen it all my life. I've seen how every time the guy who you know is good for you, the guy whose character is just right for you, you run away from him. This is what American women do. Is it all women? No, it's not. I know we have enough common sense to already determine that. What's understood doesn't have to be said. There's an exception to every rule. We all know this is the American way. While a woman is young and beautiful, she has her youth, she wastes it on people, on guys who you know is not going to treat you right, who you know is going to fling you around, throw you up and down the stairs, give you a black eye, load you up with pregnancies, and then bounce or whatever else. Up and down, unstable, immature. But the guy who you know loves you, the guy who you know will care for you, the guy who you know will be there for you, because he doesn't give you the clout, the validation, or the sense of status that you're looking for out of the reflection of your insecurities, you toss him to the side and you ignore him. And 20 years later, here you are with sagging titties.
Hey, bring the camera, son. Bring the camera. All the young girls who want to make life with pussy, your pussy will perish with you in hell. May your pussy perish with you. May your smooth pussy, creamier pussy, and tight pussy perish with you. Say a good amen.
Ass looking like a crushed up McDonald box. Face looking 470,000 year mummification. And now you want a man. Now you want to settle down. Now you looking for love. Now you appreciate real men. America has a crisis. That so-called good men is in the midst of that blue collar world, the 9 to 5 world, the skilled trade and craftsman world that they tend to overlook. Why? Because that's the bed of wisdom. That's the bed of wisdom. It's the bed of common sense and wisdom. It's where the circumstance of life rebirths over and over again wisdom and common sense to those type of men. The very men who you overlook, who are not filthy rich, who don't look like something of a centerfold magazine or something off a music video that you looked at. The immaturity in our daughters is scary. American females should not be choosing their own husbands. There is a need in this country for marriages to be arranged. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic at the same time. There's a lot of sense to making arranged marriages with American mindset females, because the immaturity will have them in their late 30s and 40s after all their beauty is on the way out of the door.
Because if you really want to earn your man, you need to learn your man. And a lot of times we get caught up with the wrong men, or caught up in a man's penis power because it's good. I mean, if a man has been around and he's a hoe, especially like the ones I'm talking about that hopping from here, and there, they have a lot of practice and they know a woman's body, they know the power of their penis, and they know how to soothe her body and to soothe her vagina. So it's really easy to be caught up with that dog kind of man. Like that one girl asked me why she thought something was wrong with her, because she liked the flashy guys with the jewelry. I said, there's nothing wrong with liking a flashy man. You just have to know what type of spirit and energy he's carrying. Because there are some good men, although they still like to flash, they're not whores. They don't give their penis to everybody. You have to be able to recognize them, because the man that is living to ejaculate, he's in a predator mode. And when a man is in a predator mode, he's going to look for the weaknesses of a woman that's lonely. Her vagina is cold. She's laying in bed at night playing with her toys, or she's got a man beside her. He's a good provider, but he's not hitting the walls and working the middle like that dog that she having that sneaky sex with.
What drives a
Looking for some quote-unquote good man to sucker his way into position with her and inherit all of her burdens, all of her traumas, all of the leftovers of her high mileage and her being ran through, her trail of babies, her trail of problems and emotional issues and complications. The good guy has to always clean up the mess. The good guy has to inherit the burden. The good guy has to come and play daddy to a whole bunch of people's goddamn kids. The good guy has to see through the leftovers of you into the inner core of your beauty and call it out of you. And you still don't appreciate it. Good men get shitted on in this country. When females see that they are pretty, when they see that they are curvy, when they get compliments and they get attention, they assume themselves to be at a value that could be far over estimation. Exceedingly over estimation. There's a bad misunderstanding about looks equaling value with females. I'm here to tell you, that is a terrible mistake. Because post-nut clarity, everybody's going to know the truth about who you are as a female. Post-nut clarity is a motherfucker. Because soon as you bust that nut, the senses of a man comes right back to him, and he's able to judge and think and see clearly all things. But when you look good, you get away with a lot. You get a lot of clout, you get a lot of attention, you get a lot of motion. You get a lot of money magnetizing in your way, energy magnetizing in your way, doors opening up. The world is in submission to the beautiful woman, to the attractive woman. It bows its knees and back to the beautiful woman. But every woman must hit the wall eventually. And that's where disillusionment comes crashing in like a raging train. The attractive females of our society is misleading the women who are less attractive than them. Less attractive women have a mistake if their self-esteem is not fortified to pour their confidence, trust, and faith and loyalty into attractive females on social media with cameras, calling themselves life coaches and so on and other things, of giving instructions, marching orders, and cadence to other females, leading them right off of the cliff of doom and destruction with themselves. The last woman that any woman should ever listen to is an attractive woman with a camera. That is the most misleading person in fucking America. That is the devil's, the fucking devil's voice. The attractive, curvaceous, sexy woman with a camera phone. There's nobody more wicked and misleading than her. Nobody more perverse, deadly for our daughters and children. A correction really has to take place. Virgo, South Node, is to get down to what really matters. To separate the foolishness, the excess, the immaturity, the distractions, the lack of discipline and self-control. It's to get down to the line of accountability and responsibility and home in on where it's at and commit to it. The fruit of that is refinement of the self. Refinement is terribly needed in the quality of the females that we are raising in this country. There are no fathers around to supplement our girls, our daughters, with Saturn. And they are raised and taught to hate and fear men. So they never get it. And they remain adult children. Pushing this lie and illusion, oh, females mature much faster than males. That's a goddamn lie. That's a goddamn lie. They play that shit off real good, but that's a goddamn lie. America has a serious problem with its females in arrested development mind state. The immaturity, the childishness. They can't even trust themselves with choosing and selecting mates, husbands, someone to date. They should not even be able or allowed to choose. A father should choose. An uncle should choose. A council of men in her family should do the choosing. Females cannot trust themselves to choose a man. Are there exceptions? Of course there will always be exceptions. But for the most part, what we are seeing in this life, she cannot vet a man. She cannot say what is or is not a man. She cannot determine what is good for her, because in her delusion, the things that she wants and prefers is of Venus. It is not of the moon. You have to choose in consideration of your moon, not Venus. Your matriarchal law, not your desires.
What drives a woman to toys?
Because, like I said, she needs the vagina penetration. A lot of women are hooked on having clitoral stimulations. You have an outer orgasm with your clitoris, but also you have inner orgasms inside the intravagina, inside the vagina walls, hidden G-spots. And every woman's G-spot may be similar, or some women may have more than one G-spot. So some women are actually hooked on coming. I mean, it's women that can be at work at their desk, they got the jackrabbit on. They said, well, it's a part you can buy, hooking onto your clitoris all throughout the day. And you could be having orgasm. That one of them I know they call, I knew some girls, that was their favorite partner. That was their favorite best buddy to keep in their pocketbook.
But see, I go back to when I was a little girl being raised in the country. Jackrabbit jumped from here to there.
Yeah, we ain't talking about the through their clothes or just to touch the penis. It's on fire. It feel like it's fire underneath the skin. So a lot of women start going crazy. They actually think, because all penises are not created equal and they don't hold the same level of intensity. So if it's one hot like that and he has the energy, he knows how to work his hips, work his buttocks, and really twist her and bend her like she's a pretzel and give her the gratification she needs, she's going to be hooked and think that that's love, or a deeper root level. She's going to become sexually, mentally, and emotionally attached, although he ain't no good, and this other man she with provides for her, take care of children that ain't even his. That woman will still sneak and get that penis power from him. But what she doesn't realize is we have to deal with our attachments and separate the love, the orgasm, and the penis.
South Node Virgo, it brings to the forefront where our criticism of ourselves and our circumstances could become unproductive, self-destructive, or even toxic, paralyzing. The idea or the thought that you're supposed to be so perfect based on conformity, based on how perfectly you can imitate the status quo or the cultural accepted norms, beauty standards, ideal standards of value, competitive resume, titles and accolades. It's about comparing yourself and attempting to perfect the imitation of what you're comparing yourself to. And for that reason, you end up looking down upon yourself. Your self-esteem gets shot. Your identity diminishes under that pressure. And what happens from there? You become delusional in how you assess, weigh, and determine value. And it started with yourself. And when you look at other people who could be friends, companions, husband or wife, suitable persons in your life for whatever reasons, you look at them in that same attitude, comparing them to the status quo, comparing their image and their resume, their words, their style, everything about them, you're comparing it to what is socially acceptable. You're making a comparison of what is in, what is popular. Does he or she fit the image of what is now popular, of what is now socially acceptable, of what I seen on Instagram, of the post that I seen where they said relationship goals, quote unquote? Does that look like relationship goals? Does that look like the celebrities that I just got done looking at? Does this allow me to keep up with that trend, that fad, that ideal, that hype? And you're looking at the other person the same way that you look at yourself in comparison to that. And you're looking for all the details that could help you look like you're keeping up with that. Ooh, look at this guy I got. Ooh, look at this girl that I got. Just like on TV, just like on social media, just like the celebrities. Anything less than that standard, you turn your nose up at it. It's not good enough. You don't want nothing to do with it. You don't even consider that it could be your destiny. It blinds you to the true value, the authentic value that matches your destiny. You turn your nose up at it. Because in that spirit of competition, you had to betray your identity to become something that you're not, to feel like you're being competitive. This type of energy is doing us injustice. This portion is with all of us. It's not just feminism, with Virgo South Node. It's with all of us. We're racing to keep up with comparing ideals of ourselves and others. And we miss opportunities because we have compared those opportunities to what is socially acceptable, socially ideal, not reflective of the status quo. So we ain't got time for it. Knowing that is what's best for you. How many people already met their husband or their wife and turned them down or her down because he or she didn't fit the description of social norms, of keeping up with the Joneses, the status quo, the social media standard or image of beauty, femininity, or masculinity, which is quite misleading. Because it doesn't fit these ideals, we miss our opportunities. And the complaints are endless of what we choose to subject ourselves to in jurisdiction outside of our status. Unable to accept our authentic status. Was every person born to be rich and wealthy? Was every person born to be a millionaire? To make six figures? To make 50,000 or to make 500,000? Everybody was not born for the same capacity. Everybody was not born for the same aim and destiny and purpose. Everyone was not born to be an entrepreneur. We have to be very careful of what we are subscribing to. Where are we getting the influence that we have? Where did it come from? We got to trace it back and make sure we give it back if it's not authentic. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater. How many blessings come to us in our life and opportunity is missed because of the narcissism that we have subjected ourselves to in our attitude and spirit and perception. The narcissistic outlooks that we have. Men and women are of different levels and ranks in life.
We've told these women on the panel, not in depth in particular this show, but different panelists that have came on over and over and over again that you're going to have to make some adjustments. And it does take humility, like you said, but most people aren't willing to because they feel like they're doing the right thing. They're not really trying to hear women are saying it. And I've mentioned the word competitive, and people will get extremely angry because I said the dating market is competitive. But women don't feel the need or have the humility to compete for men in a competitive market. If you won't compete in a field that's competitive, what result can you possibly get?
Well, if when you turned 18, you had access to men that was your age, in their 20s, in their 30s, and in their 40s. And that primarily was offered to you specifically because of your biology and not something you had to earn. You've now had 12-year run of not having to work for attention that's naturally going to be granted to you. Anybody, if I was a woman, I'm sure my mindset would have been very different than what it is as a man.
Wait. Hold on.
I get and understand. I get and understand that.
I gotta expose you to something before you go there on the youth.
Okay.
We done did it many times, but I'm gonna let the women question you on this.
Okay.
Because when you talk about a woman becoming 18 and having access to different brackets, age groups of men because of her biological position, her youth, and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can debunk it or you're gonna actually substantiate it, maybe. But there's this frontal lobe argument. You heard of it? I don't need to say nothing more, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, this, regardless of the development of the frontal lobe and who's develops faster and all this other stuff, I guess the main point I was trying to bring up is you typically had a run that your 18-year-old male counterpart didn't. He has to build up his value. So if the 18-year-old man effectively has very little to offer most single women. So he has to learn what women want and obtain it and become it. By default, a woman who's getting the attention up front, because her value is up front, if you are a poor mate selector, by the time you've gotten to 30, 32, 35, 40 plus, a woman that refuses to adjust to the type of man that she wants is effectively the equivalent of a male incel. Involuntary celibate. An involuntary celibate is a male that can't get access to women and he refuses to do something about it.
Damn.
So that loser over there to the left, that guy that's not, that no woman's checking for, and he's refusing to put the work in to adjust to the market of what women's expectations are so that he can get not only the caliber of woman that he wants, but access to women, period. Because you're a woman by default, you're going to get attention from the 400-pound life, when you 400, 500-pound life, where them people be on the show and they got to tear down the door to carry them out. All them big women was never single. There was still a man in there. So you getting access to a man is not a flex. You getting access to the man that you want is the challenge. So if you can't do that as a woman that's been getting access to men since 18, you are the equivalent to that.
Damn.
So until you're willing to make that adjustment, that's why your outcome is what it is. I'll never have men or women come into my office and they walk out thinking society and the world has to change so that I can live life. You have to point, the greatest success you can make is to make it your responsibility, even if it's not. If it went wrong, there's something I have to do different. In my marriage, in my kids, in my friendships, in my relationship, the onus is on me.
So let me
stay in your lane. There are men above me and there are men below me. And there will always be. There are women above you and there are women below you. And it will always be that way. Both are true at all times. Whatever your status is at, accept it. And if you want it to be higher, great, strive for it. If it is realistic, within your means, within your capacity, strive for it. But the spirit of dissatisfaction is a dangerous game to play. We have made it a crime for a man or a woman to work to a certain capacity in their life where they find contentment with it. There are some people who are happy with their 60,000, happy with their 50,000 or the 40,000. There are some people who found happiness with the capacity that they have. Peace and contentment with it, acceptance. They figured it out. They got the order, they got the routine, and they found their peace of mind. And there are others who are programmed by this South Node Virgo attitude, who comes along and drops seeds of doubt into their head. Oh, this is all you want out of life? Oh, you should want more. You should want more. You should want more. For what? Who taught you that? I'll tell you who taught you it. Somebody attractive and charismatic off of social media. And you ate that shit up, you believed it. That the point is to always want more. For what? That's what life is about? To always want more? That is Scorpio expression, Scorpio detriment. I desire. It is Scorpio detriment. I desire. A bottomless pit of desire. You want more. Nothing is ever good enough. You're never satisfied. You're never happy. You're never content. And people think that that's something to brag about. People think that that's something good. There are some ways to justify such an attitude as ambition. But how careful we have to be to fall into a spirit of ingratitude and blindness to your own abundance. The inability to be present where your blessings are. Greed, consumption, ruthlessness, dissatisfaction, prolonged. You want more and more and more and more. Nothing is good enough. And then you find somebody to project that attitude on and you wear them down with it. You burn them out with it. You stress them with it. You think you're doing something good. We may have forgotten what success really is. Success is not to be rich and wealthy. Success is to figure out how, within the scales of justice, you can find contentment and peace in your life. That is success. To meet the demand of all of your duties and responsibilities, that is success. And it comes in various capacities. The spirit of greed and ambition. Capricorn, shadow. Scorpio, shadow. And dissatisfaction, Virgo, shadow. Prolonged dissatisfaction, Virgo. You are never satisfied. Ever. Nothing is ever enough. And we look at each other the same way. I sit on this high horse. No woman is good enough for me. No man is good enough for me. You got to have this, and that, and you got to be this, and that before I could give you the time of day. But the truth is that these are public displays as attempts to convince others that you hold a value that you yourself know you do not have. Because in the middle of the night, a lot of the same characters is creeping creeping with the very girl or the very guy that you claim your standards are too high above. And then babies pop up. And whoops, you got a baby by the same person who you said you're above. By the same type of guy who you said you're too good for. By the same type of girl who you said you're too good for. You got a baby. There's a lot of liars in this. Our dissatisfaction is going to end us with great regrets in life. We're going to regret it. You turn down everybody because they're not supermodels, they're not rich, full of charisma and light. We better stop playing out here. Stop the games. We all have seen it and we all have verified it. There are good men right now in the inbox, the DMs, unread text messages, who want to treat a certain woman so right, so anxious to treat her good, to treat her right. But the truth is, she's afraid of that good treatment because in herself, she knows she doesn't feel worthy of it. She runs away. She wants to subject herself to someone who she could blame the outcome upon, who she could hide her own flaws in contrast to, who is inevitable to mess up and keep her in a good light as she emphasizes their darkness. It's all a scam. We've had a legacy in America of females' lust and attachment to drug dealers, knuckleheads, people who mean no good for her, and she knows it. But style is everything. Swag is everything. Money is everything. But a good character man means nothing to her until she's no longer on demand in the sexual marketplace. Now she wants a good man. Now that her titties is sagging. Now that she see a few wrinkles and a few gray hairs. She had a few babies by a few different dudes. The beauty's wearing off. Oh, I better go find a sucker. A good-hearted man. A good-hearted man. A simple of a sucker to inherit all of my baggage. This is what we gotta stop. Can American women really be trusted to choose suitable mates for themselves? Let's ask ourselves honestly. Can she really? The woman has heightened intuition. She sees through walls. She sees through flesh. She can damn near read every mind. Every woman has these faculties. Ain't no way with how a woman is wired. A man fooled her every time into making terrible decisions. It's always the man's fault. But somehow her intuition never works. Somehow her intelligence, it doesn't pull through for her. But she will always let you know what degree she has. Somehow always falling victim to the traps and snares of the same man who every other woman wants. And you stand in line for the misery. You stand in line for the pain. You stand in line to wait your turn for the trauma. You don't mind. It's not a problem. It's always said, at least in my community, oh, black men don't protect black women. Maybe you heard that in your community too for you. I don't know. But here's the point I want to make. This is what protection sounds like from a man. Did you ever stop to think about that? Because so many were not raised with or by the father, they don't get it. They feel offended. They're upset. They're angry. They don't want to hear it. It's time to run away, make it stop, because you wasn't raised with a daddy. So you don't have any idea or clue what love from a man sounds or feels like. This is it. Just like this. It's not the full spectrum of love. But one thing I can say for certain, what I am expressing is masculine love towards women. It's a protective love. That's what I know. I am demonstrating that protective love. This is a danger of young ladies not having fathers, because you grow up alienated to be able to conceptualize love expressed or justice expressed from a man, protection expressed from a man. Protection is not walking around with big muscles and guns, beating people up, shooting niggas if they look at your girl. That's not protection. That's crashing out. And it's childish. Protection is guidance, instruction, education, giving direction. Protection is standing between her and her desires where it is appropriate. Protection is securing her reputation, her womb, her mind, her legacy, her heart especially. That's protection. And you cannot protect a woman being agreeable to a woman. It's impossible. You can only protect a woman if you're willing to be disagreeable with her, not for the sake of disagreeing with her, but for the sake of allowing the masculine expression to structure patriarchy over her matriarchal forces. It's how you preserve her. Being a yes man to a woman, telling her everything she want to hear, saying it the way she want to hear you say it. Nigga, are you crazy? No. If anything, you're going to break her trust in behaving that way. Because now she see your dumb ass is not fit to protect her. Because now you're worshiping her. She don't know where you're going. She don't know who's steering the ship. Because you're there to say yes. Let me not go into all that. South Node Virgo. We've got to get rid of this mindset, this mentality that has us looking at each other like everybody's supposed to be so fucking perfect. Straight out of magazine, straight off a music video. These delusions of love, romanticized by your favorite song and your nosy ass concepts that you've been picking up from watching celebrities' lives. We got to get it together because we're missing out on what's good for us. Being pretty is not an automatic ticket to assume that your value is off the fucking Richter scale. Pipe down. You better tune it down. Being pretty ain't got shit to do with what you understand about yourself as a woman. Ain't got a damn thing to do with that. You just look good while a nigga fucking you. That's all that is. That's all that is. You something good to look at. But post-nut clarity is no joke. Men come to the right mind after they bust that nut. Understand that. You don't get that. Being pretty ain't gonna cut it. If you walking around here pretty, good for you. I celebrate you. I like to look at pretty women. Understand. It's a therapy. It's a good feeling to look at women. There's something special about women. Just looking at them. But I'm here to tell you, looks is not going to cut it. You can gain access with looks. But what the fuck you going to do when it's time to perform, to be, to demonstrate, show, and prove? You going to get mad when your offering's not accepted? Like Cain and Abel? Yeah, Cain killed Abel because his offering wasn't accepted. Being pretty, handsome, and having a lot of money, you got to get it together because that ain't going to cut it. We are spiritual beings. And there is nothing that can trump spiritual force, spiritual power, spiritual wisdom, and knowledge. Nothing.
Movement to tell you to get out there and compete with men in education and career attainment and things like that has the thing you should be angry with. Your average looking grandma had your average looking grandfather, and they were happy for 40, 50 years. And so did every other average at best woman before your grandmother's generation. But post baby boomer, they tried to change the rules and try to say a man should judge a woman based upon, and that's not how it works. It is not how it works. So don't be upset with the men for choosing pretty women because you all want high value men. Think about it. My show's been going on for the better part of a year. And you can probably count on one hand and have some fingers to spare how many women truly say they don't really truly want a man who's making enough to pay all the bills, to pay the majority of the bills, to cover most of it. They don't want their money to have to matter. All right, let's get into it. Ladies, pretty privilege exists. Do you want what it, do you, and let's say you're a 6 to an adjustable 6. You can play in that pretty privilege area. But are you ready to do what comes along with that? Are you ready to have to compete? Are you ready to have to defend your territory? Fend off all the women, the other thousands, the hundreds of thousands of women coming after your men on a daily basis? Are you willing to sit back and understand he has options? And it's up to you to make sure that he comes home. See, you've been told that it's his job to put you on a pedestal and look. There will be no other way to really explain how mean and ornery and how difficult and disagreeable and how spicy and sassy so many women are today if they didn't think that eventually somebody would take it. Shout out to BGS when they talk about the divest movement. He said it looks like men have divested before. That's why the birth rate's dropping. So now, ladies, I got a notion. This isn't from me. BGS said this. He's like, ladies, back in the day, when a woman wanted to get a man, she had to court him. She'd send him a pie or send him a meatloaf or something. Ladies, this is the world your mothers and this is what y'all fought for. It's what you fought for. Because at the end of the day, your sexual marketplace value is what it is. Sounds like a lot of work. Buy a dog and die alone. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this. Sounds like a lot of work. This is a modern lazy woman. That's what it is. See, Robbie has been, I'm pinning you up, not that I know you, but I want you to understand. See, women don't have any problem with a man having to go out there to become the top 10%, the best version of himself. And see, look at all the women who are angry with me, asking all these questions. Or who are you? Are you a 10 or something and so forth? Women who are really, truly happy don't get angry at the truth. Women who are truly happy don't get angry at the truth. And this woman talks about, this sounds like a lot.
We should be intentional about being a husband, being a wife. And being a husband or being a wife begins before you marry somebody. It's before then. Your habits should be such before you call yourself getting with somebody. Because you ain't gonna make that shit up once you jump in a relationship. No, you not. You are not gonna make it up. No, you ain't. Because that pressure is going to expose. If you've been fornicating, you're going to slip up and go right back to adultery while you're married. Yes, you are. Because it's an addiction. It's an addiction. Those demons is going to call you out. You got to be a husband, be a wife before all that shit go down. Understand? We ain't interested in that, are we? While we talking about Virgo South Node, check this out, man. I was raised around and by women who covered. You know what I mean? I was raised as a Muslim. Y'all know this. My mother wore hijab and even jilbab on some days. All the women of my community as I grew up, they wore hijab. They covered. This not only was in the Salafi madhab, Sunni madhab, Hanbali madhab, Nation of Islam, MGT, also Moorish Science Temple of America, 5% Nation of Gods and Earths. Understand, I've been through all of these. I've evolved through all of those theologies and schools of thought. And women learn to cover. And one thing I learned from women who cover is that when they cover, a transformation takes place if they're a revert, okay? And the transformation that takes place is she could have, before she reverted to Islam, she could have been used to showing her body and relying on her beauty to get her through, to gain her access, to magnetize, to harmonize, to make viscosity in her attempts throughout life, to give her favor, an advantage, or to give her a sense of, the dopamine hits, compliments. Oh, he's looking at me. Okay, I'm still attractive, so on and so forth. So her body could have been very essential to her having a false sense of self-esteem or security. But what happens if you can't rely on your looks anymore as a woman? In the extreme. Listen to me, please. Listen to me careful. What happens if you no longer can rely on the shape of your butt, the shape of your figure, your big ass titties, even your hair as it's covered with the hijab. 3/4 of her body is covered. Understand? So what happens? Just I want you to imagine with me now, if you're a woman. I'm not calling anybody to Islam. No, I'm not. Okay, because I don't care what religion you are. All right, you're all welcome here. I celebrate you, and I stand with you with whatever you believe in. All right, that's not what this is. So don't get all tense on me. All right. But I want you to imagine yourself wearing a hijab or jilbab, covering your whole body, right? And you're used to showing your body and you get a little buzz off of that, right? So if you had to cover, you know what I mean, all them goods that you got going on and all that, what happens to your self-esteem? It has to transfer. It has to transfer from being founded on feedback to your body and image to feedback on your personality, character, and intelligence. You see? So now you're coming from a different place in yourself as a woman. Your beauty expands in its concept and meaning now. It's inward out. You also place a threshold or barrier between you and the public to where no one can direct their attention in places that are not sincere. They have no choice but to focus on you, not your ass, not your titties, not all this extra stuff going on. What I found in Muslim women's character is a deeper level of self-awareness, a more colorful expression of beauty, and a confidence and self-esteem that does not rely or depend upon the feedback to their body and image. It changes a woman. It sobers her. It matures her. Her power truly amplifies. I must attest. So I'm not saying that you should go and put a hijab on. If you do, I celebrate you again. But the point I really want to make is, what is valuable is covered. There's nothing respectable or valuable about women who just show everything or too much. We should not be able to see certain things on your body. We should not. We should be denied access. It should be exclusive to your husband. You should respect yourself and insist and demand respect. Transfer the self-esteem from your outer image, your body, to your inner being. And navigate with that. Men have no choice but to respect a woman who demonstrates respect to herself. It's the most beautiful thing. It's our nature to do that. We can't help but to respect a woman who shows clearly that she respects herself. You're not fooling nobody with what you say because everybody see what you do. Understand?
They are separate issues. Because if we're in a lower level of it and we hooked on the penis power and this man won't even buy you some shrimp from Long John Silver's and what that plate, what, $2.99? but he can give you a mouth full of sperm and a rectum full of sperm, and he won't give you no light bread. It's like we have to see what our issue is, because a man like that doesn't respect a woman. Yeah, he'll hit her, but if a man is having sex with you and he had the opportunity to be with you, or he's an ex, so that means he had you before the other man that's providing for you could get to you, and all he's offering you is a side of penis when he can sneak in and out your man bed and out your man house. That man ain't got no respect for you, and he know you don't have none for yourself, but because you're so hooked on him and you hooked on the penis, you will sacrifice and sell yourself out to let him come in the back door, or let him come at lunch, or come in the dark, when your real man that don't have the same penis power is handling all the expenses. So a woman thinks she getting over and think, oh, that's the best sex, but she really playing herself, and he playing her, because it ain't about her. It's about his ego and about his penis and his testicles and how many notches he can get up on his belt to brag about. Remembers. That's why I was saying the other show, don't let every man hit the bottom of your vagina, the root of your vagina.
But they don't know about the bottom. They don't know about the bottom.
Yeah, that bottom one. But see, every man may not know, because he might not have a penis to really know how to hit that bottom, or how to lift to hit that bottom and work that middle. With a woman, she spread her legs wide and she starts screaming, saying, yeah, daddy, that's it. Or she might start cursing or screaming out all types of profanities because he done hit the bottom. And now her mind, she insane. Her mind ain't good because the penis done ejaculated all in her brain. She's gone crazy. So you don't let every man hit your bottom, and your body remembers it. Just like a man will put a woman over doggy style, or maybe get a mirror or something. Then they start hitting that woman from the back, or on her back, they hitting her. Then they start talking. They start saying all kind of stuff to her while they hitting her. And see, that woman is being seduced. She being seduced. He breaking her down, man. He is screwing her into submission. He's screwing her into slavery by using the penis as a weapon to break her ass down. And her defenses, I mean, she wide open. When the penis all up in your vagina, man, you don't have no defenses. Unless you just really are thinking, and this is not about the love experience, this is about a money experience, so she's a prostitute, then she's working it just for her benefit.
South Node Virgo addresses behaviors that can be quite expensive, that are rooted in lack of self-acceptance. Lack of self-acceptance. How much money does it cost? Because you want to use your money to reflect the status quo, to feel like you can compete with what you see on the internet. You don't feel good in yourself if you don't have the image and the materials, the social status, the career status that gains you clout and validation. So you spend money to feel good about yourself, not realizing that from your identity and the claim of your identity, that status comes with jurisdiction that is full of meaning and purpose in your life, if you would dare discover. But instead, you go and burden yourself with purchases, consumption, being a consumer to the market of materials that are designed to prey on your very insecurities and weaknesses. Expensive cars, houses, lifestyles that strain you, that burden you, that oppress you. And it's you burdening and oppressing yourself because of that. Because you're not happy with where your destiny has you to be in the season you are. You don't know how to accept the season that you're in. Young men do this. Well, men do this and women do this too. We see how men burden themselves, spending all kind of money they don't have to look like something that they're not, to give women impressions about themselves that's not true. Blowing the bank, way beyond budget, unrealistic in your lifestyle. Because you put your sense of self-esteem on her feedback and opinions, what she expresses openly in the public about men. Oh, you work at 9 to 5, you dusty. You a blue collar, you dusty. You listen to everything she says. If you don't do this, you dusty, you lame. If you don't do this, you lame. That's how niggas became thugs in the hood. It came from that. The real thugs came from the crack epidemic. Let me get that right. That's where the real thugs came from. It came from the crack epidemic. And it lasted until the Clinton era. This is what I know. I'm 42 years old. You can't tell me. I know the history. It lasted until the Clinton era. 800% increase in conviction rates. Come on, Google it. Look it up. Prove me wrong. Stop and frisk. 3 strikes, Giuliani. Come on. Stop me when I'm wrong. Stop me when I'm lying. That's what made thugs. The crack epidemic. After the crack epidemic, going on up to the war on drugs with the Clinton era. After that, there weren't no real thugs. Not for the majority. Wannabes. People who insist on this. And most of that has to do with the music, the social engineering and the programming in the music that's run by Jewish people who pay big dollars to black people to portray that image and give that message. They make money on the back end through the private prison industrial complex. Come on, stop me when I'm wrong. Starting with the NWA, stop me when I'm wrong. And it's because so-called African-American females were lusting after the D-boy, the drug dealer, the bad boy, the thug, the street nigga.
Quick to deflate, but the first 9 to 5 thing you could think about is a illegal 9 to 5.
Well, it is what it is. I'm not going to hold back. It is what it is.
It's not.
It is what it is.
If we're gonna put men on a level, right, we can't just glorify the drug. Yeah, hell, fuck them niggas.
Because they ain't
drug
swiping
niggas.
in or clocking in.
No, because they're illegal and they can't profit. It is illegal and they can and their career ends either with them dead or in jail.
Oh, that's not true. Let me tell you, but that person with a 9 to 5 could end up dead too.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is there's men out here who are responsible, who's working and provide everything they do legally.
Wait,
I'm not in the support.
A dude that's doing it illegally is not responsible?
Not really. No, not to me.
You know what's crazy?
You taking penitentiary dreams for what?
Very responsible. First of all, you don't know.
That's an oxymoron.
No, you don't know what put him in a position to even have to do that. You don't know if that soon as he might have caught one little stupid charge, now he can never get a job ever again. Like he gotta go. What if he don't need to build his business? What if he got a business?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sometimes they use the legal aspect to fund the real shit they trying to do.
I understand that, but I don't.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference. Because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the President has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere. In addition to that, he has appointed a new drug czar. You probably saw him Tuesday night. He's one of the most distinguished active military generals that we have in our country. He's already proven that he knows how to interdict drugs because of his command of the South American activity on behalf of the United States. But General McCaffrey will make a big difference, and I believe it is now time for all of us to know what we can do individually to be part of this anti-crime, anti-gangs, anti-drug effort. The fifth challenge is to protect the...
You gotta lay down these markers, you gotta build toward common sense gun reform, criminal justice reform, and all the like. So I think we've got a very, I think we've got somebody saying here, we have to bring them
apologize for mass incarceration.
Okay, we'll talk
I'm
about
not a super predator, Hillary Clinton.
Okay, fine, we'll talk about it.
Apologize to black people for mass incarceration.
Well, can I talk, and then maybe you can listen to what I say? Okay, fine. Thank you very much. There's a lot of issues in this campaign. The very first speech that I gave back in April was about criminal justice reform and about
predators.
You're being rude.
This is not appropriate.
This is not appropriate.
That's rude.
Now, do you want to hear the facts? You just want to talk?
I know that you called black youth super predators in 1994. Please explain the record. Explain it to us. You owe black people an apology.
In seeing this, it's all young black men wanted to become. Was street niggas and ball players. Nothing else. Were there exceptions? Absolutely. But they were not the ones who got attention from the girls. They get laughed at. They get dissed and called corny and square and green.
I don't understand why women could quick to glorify that side of a man,
No,
but a
it's not
hardworking
glorifying.
man, he's not glorified. He's not. He's not.
Yeah,
They are, yeah.
No, now we out here defending drug dealers and killers and scammers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm hustling
Like,
eyelashes. I'm hustling hoodies. I'm hustling lighters. So am I illegal? Come on.
you're not stealing somebody else's money.
I'm not stealing who money
You
though.
said scammer.
talking about scammers.
I
They
fuck
steal
the
money.
scammer, but a drug dealer ain't
She
stealing
said
nobody.
scammer.
A drug dealer ain't stealing nobody money.
Scammers are stealing people money.
No, she said a drug dealer.
I'm talking about, oh boy.
Scammers is stealing the white people money. What's wrong with that? They've been stealing from us our whole lives.
No, they stealing from black people too. Hardworking men like myself. I work. If
And
my money,
somebody scammed you?
if my money is depleted out of my bank account, you know who got it? A scammer.
It must
They
have
ain't
happened.
say-
That's why you hate them. That's why he hates
that's
them
not.
so
I'm just
bad.
saying,
Taking it
if I
personal.
were-
What happened?
So
No, it didn't.
So
Nah,
scammers,
scam
so
almost got
scammers
me
look
too,
up
I ain't
that
gonna lie.
ethnicity before they start.
Yeah,
stealing.
like we find out he black.
Yo,
Now
you
that's my
got, if you
nigga.
got Chase hit my stories, like, you know what I'm saying? You got Wells Fargo hit my stories.
I have called total war against public enemy number one in the United States, the problem of dangerous drugs.
1968 election, Richard Nixon ran as a law and order candidate, promising to restore lawfulness in American society. Part of Nixon's social conservatism was the war on drugs. President Richard Nixon, who declared the war on drugs in 1971, claimed that it would address drug abuse and trafficking by implementing stricter laws and law enforcement measures. Fast forward to the present, and decades of demonizing drugs as the root of evils led to harsh punitive measures, rather than addressing underlying issues. And, well, one of the most devastating consequences of the war on drugs has been its impact on African American communities. We've seen a rise in incarceration rates, disproportionately affecting African Americans. We can say that the war on drugs was a war on minorities. Enforcement of legislation and drug laws has disproportionately affected black communities, with the war on drugs explicitly targeting urban areas and black communities, where drug trafficking was perceived to be more rampant. Urban areas already had high rates of poverty and unemployment, and thus more vulnerability to drug problems. Cracking down on drugs failed to address the root causes of drug-related issues like poverty and social inequality. Instead, the war on drugs prioritized punishment, aggressive law enforcement tactics, and harsh sentencing policies, which exacerbated existing disparities and continued to hurt black communities instead of helping them. Legislation under Reagan continued to affect black Americans. The Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986 established mandatory minimum sentences for drug offenses, particularly for crack cocaine offenses. The act imposed significantly harsher penalties for crack cocaine compared to powder cocaine. This sentencing disparity disproportionately impacted black individuals who were more likely to be arrested for crack cocaine offenses compared to white individuals who mainly used powder cocaine. As more individuals, predominantly black, were arrested and incarcerated for drug-related offenses, families were torn apart and communities were destabilized. The incarceration of parents disrupted family structures, leading to increased rates of single-parent households. Black families experienced a higher single-family household rate. Between 1970 and 2021, the proportion of children living with their mothers in single-parent households increased from 7.8% to 17.0% for white youth and from 29.5% to 44.8% for black youth. Even though the war on drugs hit black Americans harder, research conducted by the National Institute on Drug Abuse has shown that drug use rates, including marijuana and cocaine, were relatively consistent across racial groups during the 1980s and 90s. During the beginning of the war on drugs, there are even some indications that the Nixon administration was aware of the racially discriminatory implications of their policies. John Ehrlichman, a top aide to President Nixon, admitted in a 1994 interview that the administration's approach to drug policy was a deliberate strategy to target political opponents and black Americans. He stated that the Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. The war on drugs has perpetuated cycles of poverty and incarceration. The evidence is clear. Punitive drug policies have failed to achieve their stated goals of reducing drug abuse and crime, while inflicting significant harm on individuals, families, and communities, particularly those of color. The war on drugs undeniably functioned as a war on black people.
Then fast forward when the white girls start liking black men who are not thugs. The Hispanic girls start liking black men who are not street niggas and all this other stuff. Then it's, oh, you like white girls. Your mama's black. You ain't even, you act surprised. Brothers are tired of portraying that image for her glory, for her satisfaction, and the consequences that it causes on the destiny of black males. The only reason black males indulge in that culture is because they get positive feedback from black females in doing it. It's the only reason. There's no other reason that black males do that. There's no other reason. It is the only reason. And when young men lack identity, they fall for it. You don't accept yourself, so you subscribe to all these strains, stress, problems, burdens, because you're afraid of the feedback that you're going to get if you don't be it. You're afraid of not being seen as perfect or up to par to the standard, the trend. It's same with beauty standard with females. Don't you know that that's the shadow and detriment, South Node Virgo, that so many females walk around their whole entire life with wigs, weave, tracks, eyelashes, piles of makeup, drawn on eyebrows, fake nails, BBLs, surgeries, fake teeth, you name it. Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, Mr. Potato Head.
Bundles. Houston, baby, y'all are sad. Like, it is no reason why people should have left that place pepper sprayed, ran over by somebody, cars getting broken into, cars having a wreck, cars this, cars that. It never get that deep. It never get that deep. To where you gotta like do all that. Like, Houston, y'all gotta calm down a little bit. Y'all priorities are effed up. Like, let's be serious. Like, y'all priorities are somewhere else than where they need to be. Like, it's no reason why y'all should be all over the place like that. Like, sometimes we gotta act like we got a little more sense. Like,
listen, she's speaking nothing but the truth. These are the same people complaining about buying school supplies. So sorry they want the teacher to supply their kids with school supplies, as if teachers don't have enough to worry about trying to educate their kids that they neglect and leave in front of the phone or a tablet all day. Yeah, she's right. There's no reason why anybody should have been maced or hit or anything over beauty supplies and bundles.
A limo sense. Like, please and thank you. Like, y'all, I get it. I get it. Like, we did want the free bundles. Everybody did. But baby, once y'all seen that line was 200 plus, you wasn't getting them free bundles, baby. You should have just went on about your business after that. It is what it is, y'all. Just breathe a little bit. Just breathe. Just breathe. If they having the same sale tomorrow, just breathe. Like, just not the free bundle part, but they having them. Just breathe a little bit, you know? Like,
Click on, click off, Mr. Potato Head. They hate their self. They don't like how their nose look, their eyes look, their hair, their edges, their neck. They don't like nothing about their self. But ironically, the expectation is that someone should love them and be loyal to them in that love, but yet they're not able to demonstrate loving themselves or being loyal to themselves in their love to themselves. How ironic. This is a South Node Virgo issue. You spend billions and trillions of dollars every year with the China lady, purchasing products to sew, braid, and weave on your body, to click on and click off, to paint on and paint off, to draw on, surgery and all kinds of things, fake ass horse teeth. You're doing all this stuff.
Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Out of fear. The fear of being seen as imperfect according to the acceptable beauty standard. Every woman wants to be called a 10. You ask the ugliest broad what she thinks she is on the scale, she gonna say 10. Ask me what I think I am. I don't have a problem saying I'm about a 6 or a 5, somewhere in the middle. There's men that look way better than me. Yeah. How hard was that? How hard was that? I will never be the most attractive man on the earth. Nope. I'll never be the richest. There's always going to be somebody better than me. How hard was that? It's not all their fault. Females are traumatized by social media. They're traumatized. Swipe left, swipe right. You see all these perfect standard images of bodies and beauty. And you see all the comments and glorification and lust and validation. And they look at themselves and they don't look as perfect. And the self-esteem just plummets. It drops all the way down. It's not healthy. We have to save ourselves from that. We have to save our daughters from that. It's dangerous. The need for clout and validation, and it's very expensive. It's so expensive. People show you what they want you to see online. The perfect relationship, the perfect food and vacation, and all these other things. In between all those photo shoots, their life is just like yours. Ain't no different. It's the same life as yours. And you wouldn't believe what people are doing or going through behind trying to show up like that. Lying, stealing, and cheating. Come on now. Let's get our mind right about this. Ladies out there, man, I want to encourage you. Accept yourself if you haven't. Don't hate your features. Learn to love and accept your features. Whatever they may be. You know what I mean? Enhance them, but don't cover them. Buying all this stuff, sewing it in and tying it and hooking this up and coloring all this. And I mean, you're Mr. Potato Head. You know what I mean? Where you at up in there? Where you at? You're gone. I can't see you. Where you at? Yeah? Come on. Love yourself, ladies. And cover yourself. You know what I mean? This ain't hate speech. This love right here. You know what I mean?